Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another reaction video. His name is Kyle. He's a tech repair and sales guy down in Florida. I want to say somewhere around the Tampa Bay area. Could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on it. Anyway, he recently bought a project car and he has started working on it for himself. And we're going to react to his most recent video. I've only watched the first probably 10 to 15 seconds of this video and immediately knew that it was probably a good one to react to. Maybe help him out, give him some extra information, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started here. It's a Honda Civic EK, and he starts it out by saying that he has a vacuum leak and that he's going to change the thermostat. So I immediately knew it was going to be a good one to react to. Maybe help him out, give him some information, give you guys some information even maybe, and let's go from here.
Hey, I'm doing something I've never done before, and that is changing the thermostat in the car because I have a high idle, and a lot of people are saying that I probably have a vacuum leak. So I'm also going to be changing the tubes in between the radiator and the car, and hopefully that'll help my
Okay, so so that actually brings us back to the same point that I originally said. He is changing the thermostat, and what he's calling tubes are the hoses. I guess tubes work too, technically, but they're hoses. Problem is that a thermostat and a radiator hose is not going to cause an idle issue ever. That's never going to be a thing. I think maybe he got confused by somebody saying change the hoses on the vacuum lines. Whatever. I mean, he's changing the thermostat and the hoses. Probably not the worst idea for the car. I mean, it's an older vehicle. It probably needs it. So in all fairness, it probably needs to be done. But it's not going to fix his high idle. So we'll see how that goes and see how long it takes him to figure that out. That being said, it could very well be vacuum hoses, or it could also just be as simple as an idle screw on his throttle body. So let's continue.
I just picked up the new thermostat, as well as Amazon delivered the new aftermarket tubes. I'm looking for one in particular. I might go for some skunk tubes at some point, but these are just some aftermarket tubes. I just want to get these replaced. I just cut it to size. We're going to install this.
Kyle, take my advice. Don't waste your money on name brand silicone hoses. All of the silicone hoses are the same silicone hoses. There's no reason whatsoever to waste your money on name brand hoses. The eBay ones are the same. They just don't have a branding on them.
Oh, I should have known. And so I've got a bucket underneath, I have the pipe off, and we're ready to put the new one on.
We've all been there.
There we go. That's damn near perfect. I feel like this could go.
Quick piece of advice to you, Kyle. Put the hose clamp on the hose, get both ends on, and then put the hose clamps on, because right now you actually have the hose twisted a little bit. It's more than likely not going to cause an issue, but just in the future, put both ends on and then put the hose clamp, and then just pull the hose clamps down to where they need to be. It's just better.
Okay, now I'm going to drain the radiator. I see it.
I'm sorry, guys. I got a lot to say. Kyle, also, drain the radiator before you do anything. That way you don't have that big mess. Just take my advice. I promise it'll help.
I thought it was going to be a lot sludgier than that. Now I'm going to take this tube off.
If coolant is sludgy, you've got a big problem. Just for the record.
Wow. So thermostat hangs out in here somewhere. That's where that tube that I just took out goes to. So we're going to take out that tube. Back the clamp up off the tube. Now I should just... Of course I can't just pull it. Dude, that thing is on there. I want to just cut the thing, but I can't be sure. Okay, well there's that bolt out. Well, there's our thermostat. Well, I hope our new one came with this. It, of course, did not come with it. I probably should not use this again, but I'm gonna have to. I want a new one of these, bro. So I've cut it so that it'll probably seal up right, as long as I keep these together, and then it gets closed down for now.
Oh no, Kyle. You're going to be redoing this project. Those gaskets, you cutting it is not going to help. It's going to find that path of least resistance, and you're going to be redoing this project. You should have just left it apart until you could get the seal, and just done it the right way first time. I give that a 0.05% chance of working for more than 10 miles, if even that. That gasket's bad. You need a new one.
Well, that's how it's gonna have to be. So this piece is all cleaned up. I'm going to also clean out the reservoir. This has got to go. That's clamped down. So I just got the new radiator hose into what I'm calling the thermostat.
He called it a hose.
And now this has just got to go into the radiator. That's good. Man, that has a lot of coolant. Also gross. So everything is cleaned up.
So, I don't know if anybody else remembers the video of the guy that goes through this whole long process of cleaning out an overflow jug, and he gets done, and it's perfect. It looks brand new, and it's because it was brand new. He literally had the old one that he had done all the process on, and it still looked just as crappy. There is no cleaning it. It all gets into the plastic. So 9 times out of 10, those things are super cheap. I mean, there's some like German cars and stuff like that are very expensive on, but especially for a Honda, I guarantee you could probably go and get that from Rock Auto for $10, maybe 15. Highly recommend. Just get a new one. It makes a world of a difference in the way that the engine bay looks. So I personally am all for getting a new one once it gets that nasty.
Everything is done. I have new tubes all over here, new tubes here. And so now I'm going to fill the radiator as well as the reservoir. In my opinion, it's still idling pretty high, so I don't know if this did anything. Don't think the fan is turning on. I'm sure it's not hot enough for it to need it yet, but the fan is not turning on. I just used the code thing. I still have a cylinder 3 misfire. So I guess those spark plug wires are going to be my next purchase. The car was overheating. I had to purge the air from the radiator. Did that. It's no longer overheating. The fan does come on. Everything's working good.
So the idle is still high. It is high. It's idling about 1,000 RPM, and realistically, it should be idling about 750 RPM. That's more than likely an idle screw, though. If it was a vacuum leak, it would probably be bouncing. It's not 100% that it's going to bounce with a vacuum leak, but most of the time it does. I think that's going to be just as simple of an idle screw, or it even could just be that the throttle body could be real nasty and it's just hanging open a little bit. It's a possibility of idle air control valve. I wouldn't go that route personally. I don't think that's what it is, because again, typically that makes it bounce. As far as bleeding the coolant, then yeah, I mean, you have to do that every time. You're gonna have to do that again whenever you replace that gasket on the thermostat. Overall, Kyle, honestly, my advice to you is just keep going. That's how most of us in the automotive field, mechanic field, whatever, actually learned, is just by doing, and a lot of YouTube videos and forums. But overall, you've done great. I can't complain about anything that you've done. I mean, you went down the wrong rabbit hole of doing thermostat and coolant hoses for your high idle, but again, I still truly believe that we're going to need to do that soon anyway. As far as the high idle, I personally think it's going to be as simple as an idle screw on your throttle body. You can look that up on YouTube, and there's a million videos on how to do that. If I had a D-series throttle body, I would actually show you, but I don't. It's literally just like a set screw. That's my opinion on that. As far as your cylinder 3 misfire goes, I would probably just go ahead and do cap, rotor, and spark plug wires. You did the spark plugs, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, would have been my first two, but at the same time, I would have just probably just replaced all of it. The cap, rotor, and spark plug wires, you're probably talking about $40. I can't imagine it's any more than about $40 for all of it. Super easy to do. Again, if you do question it, YouTube it, and you'll figure it out in no time. There's a million videos on Honda D series engines. That being said, overall, highly recommend you guys go follow Kyle. This video actually came off of TikTok and not YouTube. I will link it, but I'm also going to put a link to his YouTube channel as well. Overall, great guy. Highly recommend you guys go follow him. And let's see where everything goes from here. Thank you guys for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.